Hey everyone, it's Ben coming to you from the great state of North Carolina. Okay, it's Ben. Welcome to Rockin Volume 1. I've been watching probably 50 hours of Tommy Bukovac videos, and what can be said about that guy? He's just an unbelievable player and a great teacher. I'm trying to learn just by watching. It's maybe too much to sit there with the guitar and try to follow along with what he's doing, but I figure if I just watch enough, I'll improve. But I thought, hey, maybe there's something that I could put out there that might help people in a similar way who, probably aren't as advanced as people who can keep up with Tommy. But in any case, for myself, I started as a drummer before switching to guitar when I was maybe 16 or so. And so my style has always been really sort of percussive and, a lot of kind of pounding kind of attacks. And, you should see my old acoustic, it's pretty well tore up. When I first became really serious as far as performing goes, I would play out in the street in Harvard Square in Cambridge. And what I found was playing in standard tuning just wasn't working for me. I found that having this note as the lowest note available to me on the guitar as a just playing acoustic and singing just wasn't quite enough. So I dropped it down to D, and I dropped this one on the top down to D, and so I developed this basically style around double drop D tuning. And really, that chord in particular, which is just your D, A, D, A, D, D. So you get this unison on the top. So I'm putting my first finger on the second fret of the G string for an A, and my ring finger on the third fret of the B string for a D, and you end up with this chord. So I love that chord, and I love what it lets me do. Basically, if I take this chord, there's a lot of things I can do with it. I can slide it just this shape, and as I did in the sort of opening bit, right, take your regular A shape, and now you get this D hanging out over the C sharp note in the A, and you get this. Right? Having that D note on the top, really helps with that. So I can take my D shape, slide it up again, slide it up again, then up 3 more, then up 2 more, and I basically developed that style and became kind of addicted to it or used to it, where I cannot play in standard very well. And part of the thing about standard tuning that I never really liked was having to make this chord shape. There's your regular F shape when you're in standard tuning. Well, I don't know, I find it a little awkward to have my wrist so far forward. So what I can do with drop D, double drop D in particular, I can use my ring finger, and now I can play F here with just these 3 held down with one finger. I like to use my ring finger, right? And what that lets me do is it gives me the other 2 fingers for sort of twiddly bits. So if I might go, and now you have G, that's an interesting chord by itself. But now I can put my first finger here for the 5th and get that C. Right? And now the D on the top, right? So I was always like, geez, this is great. And to me, that sounds like better than a regular F chord. And I can put my middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the G string, and now I get. And what's great is you can pull it on or off. So if here's F, well, let's say I take the 2 first fingers off. Right? And so that sounds great when you're just playing the chord, but you can also kind of arpeggiate it, right? So you could go. Again, you can't do that if you're not playing in drop D. Well, you can, but it would have to be some much more difficult thing. So if I take my F chord that I really love, and I can slide it just like I was sliding the D shape, right? Here it is, up 2 frets. There's a G power chord. There's your A. There's your C. Makes it a lot easier when you can just slide the same shape all the way up the neck. And for me, as I mentioned, just trying to do it the normal way, my wrist, I just don't like doing that. So that's kind of the secret for me, is how great it sounds when you've got this D ringing out on top. So with my D chord, with an A chord, I just love that. My C chord is the same thing. That C suspended 4, or is that add 9? I'm not sure. It's just really, really nice. Now the only bummer about this tuning maybe is that the G isn't here anymore on the 3rd fret. Now it's up here on the 5th fret. So if you're regular sort of cowboy chord style G is not there anymore. And now you have, here's your G. And the good news is it only takes one finger. So I'm just holding these bottom 3 strings down. Sort of tougher and take out that major third of the B, you can just put your first finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And now it's just G's and D's all the way up. So if my D power chord is this, then my G power chord is this, and now I can go back to that F. So give that a try, see what you think. Drop both of your E strings down to D and try, hear how much kind of ballsier your D chord sounds. Give that a try. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you back here next time. All right.